For this challenge, I'm going to be beating Elden Ring using only a loadout made by GPT. The first piece of the loadout I picked up is the green turtle talisman from the chest by the Tibia Mariner. After grabbing the physic, I ran straight over to Castle Morn to grab the weapon for this run, the Claymore. The Claymore requires 16 strength and 13 dexterity. And I didn't have enough dexterity, so I went over to Liurnia of the Lakes using the shortcut behind Stormveil to pick up the dexterity not crystal tier to buff my dexterity. Picked up the Wild Strikes Ash Award by the entrance to Margit, and then went to Raya Lucaria Crystal Tunnel to pick up the Belbearing 1 to upgrade my weapon before Margit. I grabbed the golden Foulfoot by the spawn area and the Bloody Slash Ash of War from Fort Height as well as the Dectus Medallion. I then went to Fort Faroth to pick up the right half of the Dectus Medallion and to kill Grail. After killing Grail, I bought the smithing stones and the knight set from the twin maiden husks, leveled up my weapon, and put on the knight set as it's what ChatGPT said to use for this run. I then used the remaining money to level up my character before Margit. The Ash of War has really strong poise damage, so I was able to poise break him pretty frequently if I was able to keep the pressure up. The Ash of War also lets you poise through attacks, so I was able to get the win pretty easily. After running through Stormveil, I made it to Godric. The Claymore was very strong. I'd never used it before, but I realized during the Godric fight especially, that it has a really good moveset with the rolling and heavy attack pokes, and then the slashing light attacks. I used Wild Strikes for this fight, dog on him whenever he does the Flame Breath attack at the start of the fight, and I just waited for him to do it again, and I was able to beat the fight with just 2 Ash of Wars in the second phase. I went to the Black Knife Catacombs to kill the Black Knife Assassin to pick up the Assassin's Crimson Dagger, which is the second accessory I'll be using for this run. ChatGPT said use an accessory that helps you heal in battle, because it lets you heal whenever you riposte, so I put that on. I went through the Ruined Precipice and killed the Magma Worm in order to get into Altus. For the Bellbearing 2. I used the money from killing the Magma Worm to upgrade the Claymore to plus 12. I went to the Academy and killed the Red Wolf of Radagon. Then I made my way to the Rot Cave in Caelid to take on the Clean Rot Knights. The damage and poise on the Lion's Claw Ash of War was kinda crazy, and it completely destroyed these guys. I picked up the Gold Scarab talisman, which I'll be using to boost rune acquisition from defeating enemies, primarily bosses. ChatGPT said to make sure you have a versatility talisman, such as one that boosts runes or items. Rennala was pretty easy. I was able to kill her really quickly in the first phase, and the second phase I did hitless, able to just poise her out of all of her attacks with the Ash of War. I made my way straight to Tree Sentinel, who did take a couple tries, but I realized that you could stagger him out of his attacks with the Ash of War as well, which made it a lot smoother. So far, the Claymore was still holding up really well, so I just went straight into Godfrey. I almost beat him on my first attempt, but I lost about halfway through. The second try though was all it took, and I was able to beat him. The pokes on the roll and the heavy attack here were also very useful. The Ash of War was still good as always, so we went down without much trouble. Morgott was proving to be difficult, so I went and grabbed some Sacred Tears and then fought Radahn for some runes. This was probably the easiest Radahn fight I've ever had. The Ash of War had really good poise damage. I was able to just stay right up on him and keep dealing damage. I ran out of FP towards the end of the fight, but I was able to win just using the heavy attacks on the sword. So far I was still really happy with the Claymore. I beat Hang of Zeeks for some extra runes, and then went to Morgott. Morgott was proving to be very difficult and was the first real roadblock of this run, but I think that's less the fault of the Claymore and more just me being bad at Morgott. After choking about 15 times at the end of the fight in the second phase, I was able to get a winning attempt. The strategy I had for this fight was, as with most fights, to just keep using the Ash of War. Just like with Margit the first time, it'll poise break him pretty quickly, so you just have to stay aggressive and utilize the fact that it lets you go through attacks without canceling it to your advantage. The Assassin's Crimson Dagger was actually pretty helpful, as I picked up the Ritual Shield Talisman at this point, which was another accessory recommended by ChatGPT, and so I was able to heal up with that to keep my health at full whenever I got a riposte. I grabbed the Smithing Stone Miner's Bellbearing 3 in Zamor Ruins at the entrance to the Mountaintops of the Giants. I stopped to fight Vike, and, well, I'll let the clip speak for itself. So now a little richer, I moved on to Fire Giant. The first attempt at Fire Giant was actually really close until I tragically jumped off the edge. Fire Giant made me question if the challenge was going to be doable, but I realized the Wild Strikes Asha War was a lot better than the Lion's Claw for this fight, because much like with Godric, he stands still at certain points unless you just really wail on him. The first phase, just like in the winning attempt, usually went down without too much issue. The second phase, I kind of messed up the Asha War at the start, but with enough patience, I was able to kill him. This fight did take forever though, because as you can see, I would deal about 450 damage every time I got to his feet, so it took me about 9 minutes to beat him. But luckily by poking his gonads, I was able to win. I grabbed the Sweet Pot cookbook and went into Godskin Duo. Godskin Duo was pretty miserable, so I decided to summon Bernal for this fight because I never said I couldn't use NPC summons. Honestly, Bernal kind of carried. He kept poise breaking them and I would just run over and riposte, and that flow for the fight kind of just kept on going until they eventually went down. I did a sneaky little Sweet Pot mid-fight, switching it back into my inventory whenever they respawn. I don't know if I would have been able to win without that. So with Bernal killing Fatty as I healed up in the background, the Godskin Duo went down and I had the 4th Bell Bearing. I killed the Erdtree Avatar and Dragon Barrow to level up my weapon, and then I took down Grail for some extra runes before Maliketh. Now Maliketh was really frustrating me. The Claymore's damage had kinda started to fall off at this point, and I'm already not very good at Maliketh to begin with. The second phase for me was really hard because the Claymore is kind of slow, and the only opening I could safely get with my skill level at the fight was when he does the sweeping attack on the floor and then lifts it up over his head. So it was pretty slow going, but I played patiently and I was able to get the win. I ran out of heals here at the end of the fight and had to dodge the double spin attack, which I'm really bad at, and I was totally panicking thinking I was gonna lose, especially when I hit him twice at the end and he lived on like what's gotta be about 100 health, but I was able to dodge a couple more attacks and get the win. Moving into Gideon, I was pretty surprised because I thought he was gonna go down just like Vike did, but I don't know if it's just that he attacks faster, so it gives me less time to heal my FP bar, but I ended up losing to him on the first attempt, and it took me about 20 minutes to win. For Gideon, I didn't really have a strategy. I kind of just kept attacking him and then backed up to heal my FP and then would wait for another opportunity to start a long attack chain. After Gideon, I grabbed the Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone from Mountaintops of the Giants to fully upgrade my Claymore before Hourax. Hourax was pretty hard, but I was able to use the Ash of War to keep the pressure on him and go through some of his attacks like with Morgott. The real problem for me was the second phase, because I couldn't find an opening to use the Ash of War for the longest time, but on the winning attempt, I just got Ash of War after Ash of War relatively unpunished. I got a Poise Break at the start, which is really good to get damage up, and then I just kept using the Ash of War at the right time, and I was able to get him down without too much issue. Radagon and Elden Beast were, unsurprisingly, very hard. The Claymore's damage was definitely not on par at this point, but I did realize at this point in the run that it wasn't really the fault of the Claymore, and it was because I didn't have any percentage-based damage increases due to my wacky talismans from ChatGPT. But I did remember to put the charge attack tier in my physic during the Radagon attempts. That helped a lot. Really dumb I wasn't doing that for the whole run. For Radagon, my main strategy was just to ignore Ash of Wars and just use the rolling and the heavy pokes to chip away at him. So I put on Wild Strikes for better scaling, since I wasn't using the Lion Slot Ash of War anyway. I didn't have too much issue with Elden Beast on this attempt, because I still have plenty of flasks from Radagon, and luckily he gave me favorable RNG and did a lot of the running towards you sweeping sword attacks that I was able to pretty easily roll and just get behind him and get a couple hits in. When he went for Elden Stars, I played very aggressively because I thought I was about to get a Poise Break, which I didn't. Luckily, I had enough vigor that I was able to just tank Elden Stars and be fine. Although this fight was getting a little close, because at this point was still about a third of his health bar left, I ran out of flasks. the end of this fight got even closer when I whiffed one of the melee attacks and was now down to one shot from him. Luckily, he went for the light laser attack, so I was able to hit him a couple more times and he went down. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe. I'm gonna try to make another Elden Ring video soon. Sorry if the voiceover was a little weird. I didn't write a script, but I don't think that worked very well.